Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to look into fears. Every one of us have things that we are afraid of. Every one of us have fears, and all of us, including my cat, um, and our fear means something. It has messages for us, like why exactly it's there, what can we do to overcome it. So I feel like in today's reading, I want to look into one of your fears because I believe that everyone has more than one fear. And today we'll be looking into one of your fears and see what's the message behind that particular fear and what can you do to either move past it or work on it or whatever message that might come through. It might be in your present situation, in your past, or potentially future. So we're going to be taking 4 cards from this deck. This is the, I don't know if I will pronounce this correctly. Ceccoli, I don't know, Ceccoli. I will put the name of the Oracle deck in the description. I'm going to select 4 cards from this, and that will be the 4 piles. And then in your each respective pile that you choose, I will explain what that card means. So to start off the video, let's get 4 cards from this deck as the 4 piles that we're going to be doing reading based on your fear and what message that will come from that particular fear. I'm going to take this card. 1. I'm going to take this card. So I feel like it's calling me. 2, 3, and 4. It's going to select it that way. So this is pile 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to show you the card. So for pile 1, you have card number 3, and that's how it looks like. And then for pile number 2, you have card number 16. This is how it looks like. For pile number 3, card number 15. This is how it looks like. Is it blurred? And then we have pile number 4. And this is how it looks like, which is number 25. Is it blurred? I hope not. Okay, so these are the 4 piles. I will go into the meaning of each card in the pile that you selected. So take all the time that you need to choose which pile that you are most drawn to, and I will see you in your respective pile. See you. Hi there, pile number 1. If you chose this card from the intro just now, card number 3, then this will be your reading on one of your fears and what message or what is the reason of that fear being there. So that's kind of like what the reading is about. So before I start the reading, just a reminder that this is a general reading. It's not a one-to-one private reading. It is very important that you use your intuition when it comes to general reading, because not all of the message will resonate and not all of the message will be for you. So use your intuition in deciding what message is for you and what message is not relevant to you, and only take the one that is relevant to you. So don't stress yourself out in having to claim everything that I'm about to say. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into the reading about your fear and what's the message behind that fear. So with the card number 3 here, with this particular card, This card number 3, the name of this card is Passivity. I'm going to read directly from the guidebook itself on what it means. So basically, each of the oracle card in this deck has a light message and dark message. So I'm going to read both. So basically, what it says here, number 3 is Passivity. It's okay to let others fight your battles for you now and then. You can't be the best at everything after all, but don't surrender your free will to someone else in exchange for security. Letting someone else handle all your problems gives away your power. There will come a time when you struggle against the bonds of passive observation and long for more independence. Perhaps that time has already arrived. The light message is you aren't helpless in the situation, however tempting it may be to pretend so. The dark message is there's a fight going on somewhere that will have repercussions for you. So I guess based on this message, there is kind of the energy of wanting to either wanting to take everything or being defensive about everything, or being in a victim state or in a victim mentality. So there's both of the spectrums kind of like being reflected here in this particular card. But what it's about, like how it relates to your fear, we will find out. So I'm going to put this card over here for now. And we're going to just get some cards on your fears and then see how and try to connect the dots from there. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to be using 2 tarot decks. I'm going to be using 1 tarot deck to get the fear that is going to coming through, like which one of your fears that will be coming through. And then I will be using another deck, another tarot deck, to basically find out what's the message behind those fears. And then we're going to finish off this reading with 1 more oracle card, just as a message of encouragement from your spiritual team. So let's start off with finding out which one of your fear is coming through, and let's try to connect the dot with this oracle card here. So I will be using the Macabre. I'm not sure of the pronunciation as well. Apparently, in this particular reading, I'm using a lot of that, and I don't know how to pronounce. Macabre Tarot. I will, as I mentioned in the intro, all of the cards that the decks that I use, I will put in the description of the video. So I'm going to shuffle this. So using the Macabre deck, I'm going to get some information about which fear is coming through, and then from there we're going to try get some messages on what can you do with this particular fear to maybe overcome it, move past it. So let's see. For pile number 1, for group 1, which one of the fear is coming through in this reading? What is the fear for pile number 1 that wants to come through in this reading? I'm going to get 1 more card. Oops, okay, that's too many cards. Okay, I'm just going to take 1 from this and keep the rest. Okay, so the first card that fell out just now is 4 of Bones, which is the 4 of Wands. Is it focusing? And then we also have this card, which is the Guide, which is the equivalent to the Hierophant. And then we also have the Moon. Okay, a lot of major arcana here. So this must be a significant fear of yours. Okay. I feel like I'm hearing very loudly in my head right now, imposter syndrome, where you feel like you always feel like you're not good enough, and you are worried that people are going to find out that you're a fraud. And I feel like that's part of your fear, like people discovering that you're not good enough, or you've just been pretending to be good enough. I feel like maybe there are something in your life that people are so proud of you. Like people celebrate that, like with this Four of Wands being here, I feel like there's part of you that people tend to celebrate, that people tend to look at it as being like wow, this is group one's main thing. Like, and like if you have any question about this, go to group one and ask about it. And it can be anything. It can be about cooking, it can be about sports, it can be about arts, you know, anything. And you feel like I have to put on this facade of being this knowledgeable person that can pass down the knowledge to the next generation, but then inside you feel like you're a fraud. Like you feel like I'm not this person that they want me to be. I don't think I can be this person that they want me to be. And now I don't know what to do about it. And I'm worried that they're going to find out that I'm a fraud, that I'm not that good. I'm not good enough. There are tons of people that are better than me. And then I will be called out for it or canceled for it or something like that. So I feel like you are in this state of constantly trying to prove yourself because you are afraid that people are going to find out that you're a fraud or you're not good enough. But I have a feeling that that's not true. I have a feeling that you are actually quite accomplished, or you are actually quite knowledgeable in that area that people are celebrating you in. That's the reason why they celebrate, they are celebrating you. And I feel like this is where the imposter syndrome comes in, where you constantly feel like you're not good enough, or it's not enough, like what you know it's not enough, and shouldn't be enough to be celebrated or to be considered as someone that is accomplished or something like that. And I feel like you're constantly trying to prove yourself by taking on all of the burden, or trying to fight all of the battles. Sometimes there's not even a fight to fight for in the first place, but for some reason, because of out of this fear of worrying that people will start thinking that you're a disappointment or you're not good enough, that you start to sort of create a battle in your head about this, about strategizing, like especially because this particular image here is of a chess, like chess pieces, like you are playing chess with a lot of chess pieces at the back being toppled down. And it feels like you are in the middle here, worrying that people will find out, like people are looking at you as the queen, you know, like, you know how in chess game, how everyone loves the queen because it can go pretty much everywhere. It's a lot more it's the most powerful piece in the chess puzzle. But you can chess puzzle in the chess game, and then you can see that how this queen here in this card looks so worried. Is it focusing? Okay, like how she looks so worried, like she feels like she doesn't have the power that everyone expects she will have. And then now she's worried that when it's her turn to fight, she will not be able to fight. It feels like that. And I feel like that is kind of like relevant to the energy here as well, where you feel like you have to constantly prove yourself because you're just so worried that people are going to figure you out and then hate you for it. There is definitely that sense of fear that I'm sensing. So if this is resonating with you and you know which type of the achievement or area in your life that this applies to, then it could be talking about that. So you might be having issues with, will you ever be good enough for this particular thing? Will you ever be able to live up to the expectation of what people are seeing in you? And then I'm also hearing that because of this fear, you are now afraid to ask for help whenever you need to. So whenever you are in this field, you feel like, oh my God, everyone is looking at me as this magnificence in this field. I cannot ask for help because then it shows weakness, and that means that I'm a fraud. I'm sensing that as well. It might not be for all of you, but for some of you, I feel like that's the case, where you are now afraid to ask for help when you need it because you're worried that people will find out that you're not as good as you want them to believe, and then you just end up suffering alone. So I remember in the explanation for this, where you kind of like take on everything, where it's okay to let it's okay to let other people sort of take over a little bit and lighten the burden a little bit, but of course doing so without completely giving away your power. I feel like that is where this is stemming from as well for some of you, where you want to live up to the expectation, where you want to continue with this facade that you do not want to ask for help, because then for you, it means that it's showing weakness and you can't live with that and you don't want to be looked at as a fraud. And I'm guessing that that is the fear that you are experiencing. So I hope we are on the right track, because now I'm going to go into another deck, which is the Linestrider Tarot deck, to get into the messages behind this fear. It can be anything that your spiritual team wants you to hear. So it could really be about like what you can do to move past this, or what advice that they have for you, or what they want you to hear at this moment in regards to this fear. So hopefully we are on the right track with which fear of yours is coming out. And then let's see what messages is in store for you for this particular fear. Okay, so let's see for group 1. What's the message that wants to come through in regards to their fear? What message wants to come through in regards to their fear? So we have Ace of Swords, and we also have the Queen of Swords. I will be taking one more card. Okay. 4 of Pentacles. Will it focus? So that's the 4 of Pentacles. Okay. I think the message is it's kind of like very similar to what we hear from this particular card just now, which is that it's okay to talk about it to someone. Like it's okay to ask someone for help when you need it, or when you feel like there are an area in this particular field that people look up to you so much, and then you realize that, oh, there's this one thing that I'm actually not sure of. There's actually this one thing that I don't know about what to do about this, because people expect me to know everything, but now there's this one area that I don't know of. I think there's a message here that is telling you that it's okay to actually have that conversation with someone that you feel like might know. So it's okay to let your guard down a little bit when it comes to being honest about something, being truthful about something, as in when you don't know about something, you ask someone else. If you need help, then go talk to someone about it and ask, hey, can I get some help on this? I think I need help. I think there are definitely messages on that. And I feel like the moment you do that, you will actually become more accomplished, because now you will be clearer, or you will have the mental clarity on what is it that you don't know, or what is it exactly that you're afraid of. Are you really afraid of people finding out that you're a fraud, or is it because of something else? Or is it because you have this expectation that you put on yourself that I always have to look perfect because that's what is expected of me, or that is how I was raised, everyone expects me to be perfect, now I have to live up to the expectation of other people. So there's always that fear of the unknown, of like, this is all that I know, being perfect is all that I know. So if I let that go, then I will lose who I am. And I think there's a message here to not cling on to that idea. Like, don't be afraid of the unknown, and don't cling on to that idea. Don't be stubborn in like holding on to this idea that might no longer be serving you. So I think it's very important that you try your very best to have this honest conversation with someone. Let someone help you through this. So it can be a friend, it can be a family member, it can even be with a therapist, just to like tell them that you need help, like just tell them, hey, I need help with this. I feel like I am struggling to cope with this expectation. What can I do? Can you help me? Can I be honest with you? I don't think I know as much as what people think I might know. Just have an honest conversation with people that you trust, or even with professionals. And then you will realize that will give you more mental clarity on the areas that you are so afraid of. And I think that will allow you to let go of this identity that you've been trying to keep up with. And that might be very difficult and very tiring to keep up with, because it's not your true self, as in you can't relax, you can't be yourself all the time, because you are trying so hard to live up to this facade or this identity that you've been trying to play. So I think it's your fears, like your fears of being discovered as not good enough, or this fear of not being enough to other people. I think it stems from maybe this expectation that either you put on yourself or other people put on you, that you're trying to live up to. And I think the message here is that let go of this idea, let go of this identity, and allow yourself to actually learn more about your fear, learn more about the things that you're not clear about, learn more about the things that you don't know from other people. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to let people see that I'm not perfect, because nobody are. Like there's not even one human on this being that is 100% perfection. I know there are some people that we tend to put on a pedestal, and then we look at them as being this 100% perfection. And that is just our projection on them. That is just our view on them. It might not be the truth. Inside, they will have their own insecurities too. They will have their own issues or weaknesses that they are struggling with. Everyone have something that they have to deal with. Everyone have a shadow aspect that they need to deal with. Everyone has a trauma that you need to heal from. And this this applies to you as well. So just because there are some people that might put you on a pedestal, or you put yourself on a pedestal, I think it's very important that you let go of this pedestal and allow yourself to step down and be human. Allow yourself to be human. It's okay to be human, because there will be people out there that will realize that, oh, this pile one, group one is just struggling like the rest of us. If anything, that probably will make you a lot more relatable as well, because now they know that, oh, I can contribute something to group one's knowledge. How awesome is that? And then that will actually maybe be less stressful for you as well, to let go of this Mr. or Miss Perfect persona, where you can finally relax, allow yourself to discover your true self rather than this little perfection that that you've been trying to keep up with. And it's this idea of perfectionism that is giving you the imposter syndrome, because like I said, no one is perfect. And because you're trying to live up to this identity of being perfect, that's the reason why you always feel like you're not enough. And that is also the reason why you feel like you will never be good enough. And now you're so afraid that other people will discover that you're not good enough. But you're only not good enough if you keep telling yourself that. So you do deserve to get all of the success and the achievements that you get. And you also deserve to be happy, because happiness is your birthright. But at the same time, you cannot have that if you continue to put a pressure on yourself in being this, and in being something that you can't be. You're putting too much expectation on yourself, or you're trying too hard to please other people that you forget about yourself, which is the person that is the most important in your life. So I think your fear is that you afraid of not being good enough, or you feel like you will never be enough, and you feel like you're trying to keep up with this facade because you're afraid that people will discover that you're not this perfect being that they have, or that they expect you to be. And the message is that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to not know everything. It's okay to let people know that you don't know everything. And that will actually give you more clarity in what exactly that you need to improve on, what exactly that you need to learn more of. And that can actually help you improve yourself even more in whichever area of your life that you want to. So let go of this identity of trying to be perfect and just be human that continue to grow and learn from experience. And I think that is like the biggest message that is for you, that in regards to your fear. This is the biggest message that I have for you. And I hope that helps in some ways. And to finish off the reading, I'm going to take one more oracle card. This is from the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle deck. And to hopefully help you give some like final words of encouragement from your spiritual team in regards to your fear, because I do feel like this fear, you're not alone, because obviously this is a general reading, so that means everyone that choose this file have this fear. So most of the time, this fear of trying to be perfect is usually comes from you, comes from your head, and you project basically what is on your mind, you will project in your reality. And that is the reason why you always feel like you're not good enough, because that's all you see. You always see your imperfection. You always see things in your reality that justify why you're not good enough, or why you're not deserving of something, or why you're so afraid of being a fraud, or why you are a fraud. I hope not in a literal sense. And I think there's a message here of just move away from that self-destructive mindset and get a new mindset. You can get a new mindset by, reaching out to people. Be honest with yourself as well as with other people. And hopefully that can help you let go of this identity that you've been trying to keep up with. Okay, so let's get one more oracle card. This one is calling out to me, so I'm going to take that one. Homeward, take yourself out on a date. And I feel like this is going back to this idea of don't take on everything yourself kind of idea. Like you can ask for help, you can talk to people about it. This is based, if I'm trying to apply this to all of the reading, I feel like it's the way forward. And I find it interesting because this is 42, which reduces to 6, and then this card is 3. So 3, you double that, and then you get 6. So I feel like this is where you're at, this 3, which is this idea of like I have to carry on all of this weight. I'm so worried. Like you can see how this person on this card looks so worried, like, oh my God, they're going to discover that I'm a fraud, that I'm been pretending all this time. And then you can see in this card how this person now is more at ease, at peace, and just enjoying what's around the environment, and then just paying attention to the surrounding a lot more and just a lot more relaxed. So I think that right now you are in this energy, and then if you allow yourself to be human, if you allow other people to help you, you will be able to get from this 3 to this 6, where you are a lot more relaxed, you are able to let things go, and then you will be a lot more content with where you are in life. Okay. All right, group 1, this is all that I have for you. I hope some of the message here resonate, if not most of the messages here. If you enjoyed this video, do consider giving it a like. If you have anything more to add, do leave a comment. I'll be more than happy to read it. If you feel like there's someone that you know that can benefit from this reading, then definitely share this video with them. If you want to see more video from me, then do consider subscribing to this channel. Other than that, I wish you so much. I wish you all the best in your journey, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hi there, group 2. If you've chosen this card, which is card number 16, then this will be a reading on your fear and what's the message behind your fear. So before I get into the reading, I just want to remind you that this is a general reading. It's not a one-to-one private reading. So not all message will be resonating to you. So use your intuition in deciding which message is for you and which message is not for you. So let's get into it. So this particular card, card number 16, the name of this card is Expedition. I will be reading directly from the guidebook on the message. Each of the cards in this deck has a light message and a dark message. So I will be reading both. And then I will pull out tarot decks, like tarot cards. I will be using two tarot decks. One is to figure out what fear is coming out in this reading. And I will try to relate it to this particular oracle card. And then I will be using another tarot deck to find messages based on that fear, what you can do to move on or overcome or move past that particular fear. And then we're going to finish off the reading with one more oracle deck. It's kind of like a final word of encouragement from your spiritual team. All right. So this one, 16. So let me read it from the book directly. So card number 16 is called Expedition. Adventure awaits. Put your everyday life in the rearview mirror and head out to uncharted territory. Whatever box you have stuffed yourself into, it's time to break out. New friends and new experiences will freshen your perspective on life. You will find inspiration when you strike out in new directions. If you have been stifling your need for freedom for a long time, you could feel a bit giddy at the prospect of doing exactly what you want. The light message is bring back gifts, both tangible and intangible, for your loved ones. Dark message is don't give in to impulsiveness and irresponsibility. Don't skip out on your obligations. So based on the light and dark messages, I can feel like it's like if you've been meaning to travel for a while, but you've been delaying it, I feel like there is a confirmation here, like go ahead and do it. Stop postponing it already. And don't forget to bring back gifts, souvenirs for your friends and family if you want to, of course. But then, of course, there's also that message of careful not to be too impulsive about it until you forget your own responsibilities, either as a friend, a person, to your work, to your family, to your whatever else, okay? So that's kind of like the message that I'm seeing here. Other than that, I'm also sensing this desire of wanting to break out from your reality, like you feel like your current reality is no longer serving you. It feels like you just want to break free and then just be a completely different person, or find a completely new environment that you can experience something completely new, because you just tired of the same old routine. So for some of you, maybe you really do need to travel and just be in a different environment and experience new food or new cities, or do things that you've never done before, or just surround yourself with nature a lot more. So for some of you, that might be the confirmation that you're looking for. If that's the case, you're welcome. And if not, then let's see which one of your fear is going to come true, and let's see what message does your spiritual team have for that particular fear. Now, for reading out on your fear, I will be using the Macabre Tarot, Macabre or Macabre. I'm not sure which one is the right pronunciation. I usually call it Macabre or Macabre. I've also have heard people say that. I will put the name of the decks in the description of the video, so that in case you're not sure of my pronunciation, then you can always look at the description. And then this particular deck, I'm using it to figure out which fear of yours is coming true, and then let's go from there. We can get some idea of what this reading will be for group 2. So let's see, for group 2, which one of their fear that is coming out today or in this reading, which one of their fear is coming out. I'll be taking 3 cards for this particular part of the reading. Okay, second card fell out. So you have the 8 of Cups. And this is the Sun. And I'm going to get one more card. I'm going to take this one card. It's already sticking out. Haunting of Bones. Okay, this deck has a weird name. Haunting is Queen, Bones is Wands. So that means this is a Queen of Wands. Is it focusing? Yes. Okay. So let me arrange the cards. Okay, I can see how this relates to this. Wait, I'm trying to. Okay, sorry. I can see how this fear of yours relate to this oracle card that we've just talked about. There's definitely a fear of moving away from your comfort zone. There's definitely a fear of following your joy. Especially with this particular deck, the Macabre deck, it's kind of like focusing a lot. Even the happiest card has kind of like a scary tone to it, because it does talks about the shadow side. Like the deck is basically very suitable for talking about fears, about dark side or the shadow side, or the shadow aspect of your energy. So I feel like you've been feeling stuck for a very long time. And this, I've actually never noticed this before, but this is sticking out to me right now. If you look at this card, if you're afraid of bugs or spiders, I'm sorry. But if you look at this particular card, you see like how there's this spiders with this pin that kind of like forcefully pinned down the spiders, and now the spider is stuck there, not able to move anywhere. And I feel like there is kind of like relevant to you. Especially because this card is the 8 of Cups, and then this card is card number 16. I feel like it's kind of like the underlying energy of this, kind of like you kind of like been wanting to like you feel like you need a holiday. You need a very long holiday. the scene from the Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, where Bilbo Baggins was talking to Gandalf the Grey, and then Bilbo said to Gandalf, I need a holiday, a very long holiday. And I feel like, and I don't expect to return or something like that. I forgot the exact words, but it's something like that. It was before Bilbo's birthday celebration. And I feel like this is the underlying energy where you want to travel, or you just need a break and experience new things, but at the same time you feel stuck, you feel like you can't move. Now the reason why you feel stuck, it could be anything. It could be because you feel like you don't have the time, or it maybe you feel like, oh my god, I have kids, I can't, because there's so much to think about. Or you feel like I have so much to do at work, there's just no time that I can apply for leave and go for a holiday. Or it could be because of other expectation, like, oh, if I go on holiday, then later people will say this, blah, 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 blah. Or maybe there's the financial aspect about this. So there's like a lot of things that is keeping you down or pinning you down forcefully. And the message here that when you need a break, it doesn't mean that you go on a trip for a month in a foreign country. It could literally be just like a weekend getaway, like just for like the weekend, go somewhere, go do some, like it doesn't even have to be an overnight thing. It could just be like a day trip somewhere, just to be in a new environment, just to take your mind away from your current reality, just to refresh, reset the button, to renew the energy a little bit more. I feel like you're feeling stuck and you are so afraid to follow your joy because for some reason you feel guilty doing that. That's what I'm sensing. Like you feel guilty to have fun, you feel guilty to follow your joy, you feel guilty to step into the goddess or the queen that you are, regardless of what's your gender identity, but you're just feel guilty to become the best version of yourself because for some reason you have convinced yourself that doing that is a selfish act. That's what I mean. That's kind of like what I'm hearing right now. It might not be applicable to all of you, or maybe it is, or maybe you try to justify that by saying that no, it's not selfish, I just have a lot on my plate, or it's not selfish, I have to think about this, if I can't just think for myself all the time. Well, that's the thing, you're not thinking about yourself all the time. The thing is, you're not thinking about yourself at all. You're neglecting yourself completely. If you allow yourself to actually just follow your joy, you can be like this, the best version of yourself, because Queen of Wands is someone that is very confident, someone that is very in their power, someone that's very attractive, regardless physically attractive or energetically attractive, or both, doesn't matter, but they're just someone that is that radiates this very attractive energy that people that draws people in. And this is someone that you can be, but the thing is, you're not looking after yourself because because for some reason you're afraid by doing that you will be neglecting everything else that you're supposed to do, all of the other responsibilities that you have. So because of that, you do not give yourself even a slightest tiniest drop of time to just relax and have fun and do what you actually love, because all you think about is that, oh, I have to do this, I have to take care of this, I have to please these people, I have this deadline, I have no time to do that, I have no time to do this. And I remember mentioning this in my June 2022 reading, but I forgot to which pile I mentioned it to, where this is something, and I feel like this is relevant to mention here as well, where last time I remember my therapist mentioned to me that self-care is not a privilege. Self-care is not a reward. It's not something that you do if you did a good job at work. It's not something that you do if you complete all of your tasks of the day. No, self-care is something that you put in your daily routine, just like how you eat and drink and sleep and breathe oxygen. It's self-care is part of that. It's a necessity. It's not a privilege and it's not a reward, regardless of how much money you make in a month, because technically self-care, you can do self-care without spending a single dime. Even meditating is considered as self-care. So I feel like you need to know that self-care is not a privilege or a reward that you give yourself if you do well at work or if you do well at your responsibilities. Self-care is like food and drink. Is a necessity. It's something that you need to do every single day in order to be the best version of yourself. So right now, I feel like you're feeling stuck because you have this fear of that if I take care of myself, I'm selfish. If I take care of myself, I'm neglecting my own responsibilities. I feel like there is that fear in your mind, that like you have that mindset. It might not even be a conscious thing. Like you might not even realize you have this mindset. Because mainly because I'm hearing that you might not have this, you might not realize that you have this mindset is because you have been justifying it for so long that it just feels like, oh no, this is not self. Like I'm not trying to say that I myself don't matter. It's just that because I have all of these other things, like all of these other things that I need to do, that takes up a lot of time. Like you always want to justify why you are doing this and why it's okay for you to doing this. But I think deep down at the root of it all is because there's a fear of that if I let myself have even the slightest bit of fun, or even if I let myself being taken care of by myself, it's like a selfish thing to do and I will be neglecting my responsibilities. I feel like there's that fear underlying at the root of whatever justification that you give yourself in this particular energy, to be in this particular energy. That's the root of it all. So you might realize it and you might not realize it, but you know, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing, as well as what I'm hearing, as well as what I'm feeling. So for some of you, or for a lot of you, I feel like that is the root of the fear. And you might be justifying it with a lot of other things to sort of make yourself believe that it's okay to be stuck in this energy. So I think you have convinced yourself that it's okay to not take care of yourself. It's not a wrong thing because you have so much other things that you need to think about. So that is your fear. I hope we are on the right track when it comes to your fear, because now I'm going to get some messages. So for your messages, I'll be using the Linestrider Tarot deck, and this can be messages from your spiritual team on advice about this particular fear that you have. Okay, so let's see for group 2, what message is available for them in regards to your fear. Ha! We have 8 of Cups again with 8 of Cups. But of course, this 8 of Cups looks very different. Let me get 2 more cards first and then I'll get it. But I'm like, wow, I love this. Okay, let's get 2 more cards. So we have the Knight of Swords. One more. Okay, and we have the Four of Swords. That is pretty much everything that we've been talking about. Is it? Okay. Okay, you know what I find interesting? We have like 1 major arcana, we have 2 court cards, and we have these 3 minor arcanas. And if you look at it, all of the minor arcanas card, which is the 8 of Cups, the 8 of Cups, and the 4 of Swords, all of them can equal up to 16. Like 8, if you double up the 8, it will get 16. But then, you know, 4 can also if you square 4, then you get 16, you know. So I feel like it's all number wise, it all leads up to that. And I don't pay attention to number all the time. So sometimes it's like quite loud in my mind that where they want to point out to the numbers, and that is pretty much the only time where I noticed about the numbers. So 4, square it up to 16, and then 8, of course, 8 plus 8 is 16, you know. So I feel like your energy right now, or your higher self right now, really wants a break. And that can mean anything. It could literally just be a one-day trip hiking somewhere, or just retail therapy, or just go to this restaurant that you've been wanting to go for so long, but you always find excuse on why not to go, or you always, or even go to the cinema with your best friend or with your partner, or even just by yourself, you know, just to have some time to just do what you love and not think about the worries, even if it's just for like 2 to 3 hours in that day. Or if you can afford to go it for the weekends, then do that. Like maybe go camping or go hiking, or go to the theme park or something, and just allow yourself to have fun. So I feel like at the core of it, this is like what your soul needs. This is what your soul's screaming to you right now, is to have fun. Move away from this. So right now, you see that this 8 of Cups I showed just now, how the spider is forcefully being pinned down, like it feels stuck, like it wants to emotionally move away, but at the same time you feel stuck to that place. Whereas this particular 8 of Cups, it is walking, like this figure, like this person right here in this card is walking away. It's not stuck, it's carrying the bag and literally walking away. So I feel like this is what you need to do. Unstuck yourself, unpin yourself, and allow yourself to actually get to this, you know, just be free to do something that will actually make you happy. Do something that will make your inner child happy. That I'm hearing that as well. Do something that will bring you joy, even if it's just for a day. It's much better than nothing at all. So I feel like the message here right now is to take action. Okay, so take actions towards breaking free, even if it's just for a bit from this cycle that you've put yourself in. Like, don't feel guilty or don't feel bad about taking some action towards what brings you happiness, towards what's bring you joy. So don't feel bad about that. Be courageous into fighting this fear of thinking that I'm not a responsible person if I have fun. I'm being neglectful if I do something for myself. Like, I think there's that call of finding the courage to move away from this mindset, because I know it's easier said than done. It's easy to say, like, stop thinking like that. It's easy to say, but it's not easy to take action on it if you've been telling yourself that for so long and your brain is convinced that that's the truth, that's the reality. Like, subconsciously, that's what you believe. Now you need to reset your subconscious mind. You can do affirmations by telling that, you know, happiness is my birthright. I can have fun because I deserve it. I'm taking care of my inner child. I'm taking care of myself by allowing myself to have fun. And I think it's most of it all. I think the message here is to rest. With the 4 of Swords here is to really rest. So I feel like you've been maybe you overwork yourself in whatever way that may be. It might be work, it might be studies, it might be responsibilities that you have towards your family or something like that. I think there's a message here that you need to allow yourself to rest. You need to allow yourself to get unstuck and move away from that fear of being a selfish person just for taking care of yourself, because it's not. You, like I said, self-care is a necessity, something that you need to do every day. And have courage to move away from that fearful mindset of believing that if I have fun means that I'm being selfish and neglectful towards my responsibilities. It's okay to do something that you enjoy. Of course, don't do it to the point of you being not being productive. Find balance, obviously. Find balance, because right now your life is not balanced. You are too much on the other spectrum where you constantly working because you feel bad about resting. Find a middle ground where you can tip the scale, where it can balance between resting as well, like resting, self-care, having fun, as well as your responsibilities. Find the balance between the two. Okay, don't, so right now it's kind of like the balance is way heavy on the side of working. So walk away and find a middle ground where it can be more balanced, where you can have fun, where you can be happy, where you can take care of your well-being, while also without neglecting your responsibilities in life. So I think that is a very important message for you right now. Your fear is that you feel that taking care of yourself is a bad thing, and that is your fear right now. And I think the message here is that it's okay to move away from this mindset. It's okay to move away from these beliefs and just rest. And once you do that, once you rest, once you allow yourself to have fun, that is where you can become the best version of yourself. Right now you are so afraid to become this Queen of Wands energy, like you're so afraid to become the best version of yourself because you feel like people will look at you wrongly. People will look at you as being like this entitled person or something like that. So those are just in your head in a way. So I think that you are more than able to have rest, have fun, while at the same time being a responsible person towards your duties. I think you are more than able to do that. You're just afraid that you're not going to be able to do that. So that is kind of like the messages that I'm seeing in regards to your fear and what you can do, like what are the advice from your spiritual team about it. Now I'm going to use a final oracle card. Now this is the Believe in Your Own Magic oracle deck. And I'm going to be using this deck to basically get a final word of encouragement and what you can do to improve your situation, basically. So for group 2, oops, oh, it came out already. You have dragons, slay them all. And I feel like this is very much closely related to the Knight of Swords, where find the courage to slay all of your fears. Look at how big your fears is when it comes to just allowing yourself to have fun, just allowing yourself to be be happy, basically. Like right now, I feel like you feel guilty to be happy. You fear happiness for some reason. Like you have convinced yourself that happiness is a bad thing. Like you might out loud say to people like, no, I want to be happy. I want to be happy. Who doesn't want to be happy? But you didn't realize that deep down, you actually fear it because you feel like you're being selfish if you're happy, if you're being selfish if you're the best version of yourself. So I feel like you need to find the courage to say no to that mindset. You need to find the courage to affirm to yourself that you deserve to be happy, that you can have a balanced life between your responsibilities and things that actually will make you feel good. So find that balance, find the courage to find that balance, find the courage to say no to that mindset because it's not serving you. Okay. All right, group 2, that is all that I have for you. I hope some of the message, if not most of the messages here, resonate with you. If you have anything more to add, you may leave a comment on this video. If you enjoyed this reading, then do consider giving this video a thumbs up. If you think there's someone that can benefit from this reading, then definitely share this video with them. If you want to see more video from me, then do consider subscribing. Other than that, I wish you all the best on your journey, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye, group 2. Hi there, group 3. If you pick this card, 15, then this will be your reading all about your fear and what's the message behind the fear. So before I start the reading, I just want to remind you that this is a general reading. It's not a one-to-one private reading. So just keep in mind that not everything that I say will resonate with you. So this is why I ask you to use your intuition in deciding which message is for you and which message is not for you. Okay, so the most important thing at the end of the day is you and your intuition. Okay, so in this reading, as I talk about in the intro, is that we're going to be looking to your fear, one of your fears, and what message that comes with that fear that may help you to overcome that fear or face that fear or do something about that fear. And in order to do that, I will be using 2 tarot decks, one to basically identify which fear is coming out, and another tarot deck is to talk about the messages of that fear. And then we have an oracle card to start with, and then we also have one more oracle card to end the reading with. So in regards to this particular card, 15, I'm going to be reading directly from the guidebook on what is the message behind this particular oracle deck. Every card in this oracle deck has a light and dark message, so I will be reading both, and then you can tell which one is basically yours. Okay, so let me read. Card number 15 is, the name of the card is The Call. So the message is, each person has a special calling, something they were born to do or be. Not everyone heeds that call, of course. You may have been avoiding yours for years. You may have created a comfortable life that doesn't make a lot of demands on you. Or you may be reluctant to try out your talents for fear of failing. A true calling can't be denied, and yours is getting louder and louder. It might have something to do with your career, but it could just as easily have to do with matters of the heart or the arts or any of a million other ways you express who you are. The light message is, a seed of creativity is about to burst into bloom. A dark message is, something you are already doing needs more dedicated attention. Okay, so I think from the card itself, it's very clear that this speaks about your calling, or this speaks about something that your heart truly desire, but you're just not doing it. It could be because a lot of reason that you're not doing it. It could be because, as what the book says, you're afraid of failure that might come with trying. Maybe you're afraid of the unknown, of what will happen if I take that leap into that direction, or it could be a fear of judgment from other people. It could be a fear of feeling like you're not good enough, because obviously to try something new, you have to be bad at it first. And if you have this fear of being bad at something, then obviously you're going to be afraid to start something new. But then of course the downside of it is that you never get to improve, because in order to improve, you need to start from somewhere. In order to start something completely new, you have to start being bad at it first, then you can climb your way up. So I feel like there is that message of just not feeling confident about doing something that you truly love, or something that you feel like you should be doing, something that you feel like can bring you a lot of opportunities, but to do it, it has risks. It will require you to take quite a big leap of faith, and you're just afraid of doing that because you already have a comfortable life that you already created for yourself, and you feel like, oh, this is quite safe here, like it's boring, it's not fulfilling, but at least I know it's safe. And you just don't want to take that leap of faith that can potentially give you a lot more opportunities or fulfillment in life. So there is that energy there that's coming from the card. But let's look at the tarot deck just to find out exactly more information about this fear of yours. So to be reading into your fears, I'll be using the Macabre Tarot or Macabre Tarot. I'm not sure which one is the pronunciation. Macabre, Macabre. I've seen people pronounce it both ways. So I will put all of the name of the decks I'll be using in the description of the video so you can find it. Okay, so I will be drawing 3 cards from this deck just to get information on which one of your fears that is going to come true. And I will try to relate it to the oracle card that we've talked about just now. So hopefully it will all be in good alignment. Let's see. For group number 3, what is the fear that is coming out for them? What fear is coming out in this reading for group 3? Okay, we have 1 card coming out. It is the 7 of Cups. Okay, I'm going to draw 2 more cards. Okay. So we have the Strength card. Will it focus? It's not really focusing, but I think, oh, there it is. So you can see that it's a snake there with strength. And 3 of daggers is 3 of swords. Okay, I think this is pretty straightforward because I think it's pretty much what we've been talking about. There is definitely options that you are thinking about, like, or maybe you just either you have been presented with this option, or you have this illusion of how things will be if I leave my comfort zone, and then I feel like you are fear. I mean, it's pretty much what we talk about, that you are afraid that if you find the strength to take that leap, to make the decision to take that leap, that you're going to end up with a broken heart, or you're going to end up with a failure. So in what way this is, I think it's covers so many different areas of life that I can't pinpoint to one. But some of the things that I'm hearing in my head right now is telling someone how you really feel about them. So this could be a romantic thing where you have this desire, or you are very attracted to someone that you want to have a relationship with that person, but you're just afraid that they're going to reject you if you take that leap of faith on telling them how you feel about them. There's also something about career. Like right now you are already in a comfortable position in your current job, but you're not happy. Maybe the environment is toxic, or maybe you feel like there's no more development. You're not going anywhere. You've been stuck in the same position. So you just want to go on to a different company, or you want to try out a completely different thing, but you're afraid if you do that, you're going to lose the current comfortable job. And then you will end up back to square one. So there's another scenario that I have in my head. Another one is for those of you that are studying. Maybe you are currently in the middle of your studies in college or uni, and you realize that I don't like my major, I want to switch major, but at the same time, you're afraid of doing that because you don't know if you're going to still end up liking the new major that you choose. So what other things that I'm hearing about? I'm also hearing about confronting someone. Like maybe there are some issues in either with friends or families, and you've been holding it for so long, but you're not sure if you can hold it anymore, and you just want to tell them how you really feel about the situation. And then you're afraid that if you tell it to either your family or your friends, it's going to end up damaging the relationship, and you're going to be very heartbroken about it. So you're kind of like just suffering in silence just to keep peace of the situation. So there's a lot of different scenarios that this can be applied to. Those are just some of the examples that I'm giving. So in whatever way this applies to you, definitely take that, like take it as a confirmation in whatever way that applies to you. So there's definitely an illusion or options that you are looking for, that you're seeking for, or information that you're trying to manifest on. What do I need to do? How can I, like what direction can I go to still be safe, but at the same time get what I want? I feel like you are in that state of like trying to find a cheat code in the situation where how can I not lose what I currently have? How can I still be comfortable, but at the same time get what I truly want? And I think in this situation, I think that there are some situations in life that in order for you to actually get what you truly want, or at least take a chance to find out if there's even an opportunity there in the first place, is to just take that risk, is to just take that risk, take that leap of faith, and hope for the best, and believe that regardless of what's the outcome, you will be okay. Now, this is of course easier said than done. There's a lot of things to consider, like especially if it's something to do with career, especially if you have family to support, you know, and all of those things. There's a lot of fears, definitely. I understand that, a lot of fears, a lot of worries. But at the same time, you also thinking that your life means nothing if you just continue to be where you are. And I think that is a very depressing thing to be feeling. And I know how that feels because I have been in that situation where I stayed in a job, not because I love it, but just because it's safe, you know, because it's safe. And then my mental health definitely depleted so much, to the point where I realized that I kind of like got the call as well, like I cannot do this anymore. I just have to take that leap of faith. And I'm still in that journey basically, but I have never felt better. So I don't regret it, even though there's definitely uncertainties, but I've never felt better. I'm so much mentally, I'm so much more at peace, and I have clearer idea on where I want to go with my life as well because of it, because I pull myself out from that situation. So I understand the fear, but I can also confirm that being in a fearful state does cloud the mind a little bit, because you are acting from a place of fear. So when you have too much fear in your mind, it will create so much fear in your reality as well, because all you see are the things that confirm to your fears. So whether you like it or not, us human in general will see what we want to see. So that means if you keep telling yourself about all of the things that you're afraid will happen, then what will happen is that your mind will choose to look at the things that will justify all of the things that you are fearful of. And because of that, you will kind of like look at that as confirmation, like, I was right. But that is actually just your perspective from a place of fear. If you switch your mindset from a place of love or from a place of courage, that exact situation might give you a completely different perspective that you didn't see before. So I'm sensing that you are in a, like, your fear right now is you're afraid of failures. You're afraid of the rejection. You're afraid of things not working out if you take that leap of faith. Or you're afraid that if I find a strength to leave my current situation, I will go into someplace worse. I will go into someplace that's not going to make me feel any better. So there's definitely that fear. And I hope we are on the right track about your fears, because now I'm going to go with another deck which is the Linestrider Tarot deck, to get a little bit more information on what can you do to overcome this fear or to deal with this fear, and improve your situation in a way. We kind of like already talk about it a little bit, but let's see if we can get more information. Maybe I missed something. Okay, so let's get 3 cards as well. So for group 3, what message do they need to hear in regards of their fear? What message they need to hear in regards to their fear? Okay, so we have the moon. Then we also have the 4 of Cups. And lastly, okay, you already got a card that fell out. And lastly, we have this card, which is Ace of Pentacles. Okay. I think there's a message here about trying to deal with your fear of the unknown, because when we fear rejection, when we fear failures, the thing is with your situation is that you don't know if you're going to be rejected. You don't know if you're going to fail. It's just a probability, but there's also a chance of you succeeding. And I think right now there is a message here about about dealing with your fear of the unknown, because your fear of this of the unknown is the one that is holding you back. It is the one that is preventing you from seeing all of the opportunities that lies ahead. And I think that your fear of the unknown is making you a little bit stubborn, where you are only focusing on things that will go wrong, because that's what you're afraid of. Like I said, when you are looking at things from the perspective of fears, you will only see things that will confirm your fears. But if you try to change your mindset, then you will see that there are other things, other possibilities of that same situation as well. So I think there is the message here of trying to be more intuitive, to move away from your fears and open up your eyes to other perspective other than the perspective of fears. And regardless of what happened, the opportunities are there, sometimes in ways that you not expecting. That's another thing, like the way the universe works, or the way divine timing or divine planning works, is sometimes it gives you what you want in ways that you were not expecting, or even in ways that you didn't thought you need. Like when it first given to you, you're kind of like, what is this? What the hell is this? This is not what I asked for. But then once you go through it, then you realize like, wow, I didn't realize I needed this. So I feel like regardless of what's the outcome. So let's say, for example, it is about career, a career switch. Like you can't stand your job anymore. Let's say it's a toxic environment, or you feel like you can't grow in that particular line anymore. You want to switch to something new. I think there's a message here that regardless of what happened, as long as you take that leap of faith, there will be something for you. There will be something for you. There will be something, as long as you are not acting from a place of fear, as long as you are not acting from a place that can self-sabotage yourself, you will continue to find opportunities that can help boost your career. Sometimes things are scary. I'm not going to lie. That's the truth. There are things that are very scary to do, but as long as you're not acting from a place of fear, I think there's a message here that the universe has your back. Like even if things don't work out the way you want it to, universe will still have your back and will show you a different path that is more deserving for you, that will serve you to your highest good. But of course, in order to do that, you need to allow yourself to move away from the perspective of fear. You need to move away from the fear of the unknown and open up your eyes to all of these other perspectives that you have been closing your eyes from because you are too fixated on fears. And it's not just for career, it's for anything. It's for relationship, for friendship or families or whatever other things that is applicable to you. So I think there is that message of moving away from the fear. Try to look for your courage. Try to look for your courage because strength is there. So that's kind of like inner courage right now. I feel like right now you're afraid of finding your inner courage because then once you take that leap of faith, what if things don't work out? And I admit when things don't work out the way you want to, yes, it sucks. It's painful. But at the same time, know that you have made that leap. Okay, you have made that leap. And then from there will be endless of opportunities for you as long as you don't fall back into that fear. As long as you kind of like, oh my God, I just failed, and then you crawl back to your fear. Then of course that will just kind of like you just end up where you started. But if you take that leap of faith, and even if it doesn't work out the way you want it to, but you still remain faithful that things will get better from here and no longer act from a place of fear, I feel like it's going to improve your situation a lot more. Universe will help you. The universe, like I said, universe has your back. I'm going to repeat that again because I feel like for a lot of you, you are having a difficult time believing that. And probably that is something that you need to affirm, which is universe has my back. The universe has my back. Everything will happen in a way that will serve to my highest good. Maybe that is something that you need to affirm to yourself a lot until your subconscious believes in it. Because when it comes to mindset, when it comes to self-concept, you need to tell yourself things that you want to be your reality. So sometimes your subconscious don't believe in it straight away because you have been telling yourself that this is bad or this is terrible or this is something to be afraid of for a very long time, that your subconscious accepted that as your reality. So in order to switch that, of course, it needs time as well. Your subconscious needs to be convinced that this is the new reality that you want to be in. So keep affirming to yourself that happiness is my birthright. The universe has my back. I am being guided into the right direction. I am going into a path of least resistance. What belongs to me will come and find me. And basically that can help you a lot. I feel like that can help you a lot. I don't know if the siren sound can be heard in the video, but in case it can, sorry, there's a siren, quite a loud one outside. Okay, so to finish off the reading, I'm going to get one more oracle card as a last word of encouragement from your spiritual team. And to basically just finish off the reading. So for group 3, what last words of encouragement do they need to hear about their fear, about how to move past their fear? What's final word of encouragement that will be useful to them? So this I'm using the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle deck. Oops. Oh, you got 2 cards. Okay, so we have the first one that came out is you, Evil Queen, you deserve sugar, not salt. Is it focusing? I think so. It's not focusing very well, but And then the other card is escapist. Come home to yourself. Okay, so I definitely feel like there is, wait, probably want to do it like this. So I feel like there is this is relevant to what we've been talking about. So it said that you deserve sugar, not salt. So I feel like it's talking about how you deserve to be happy. You deserve to have success. You deserve to have abundance of things in your life. So you deserve that, not salt, not when I say salt, it reminds me of tears. So like you deserve to be happy. You don't deserve to be sad, but at the same time, you don't deserve to feel stuck. You don't deserve to feel like your life is not fulfilling. You don't deserve a gray life. You deserve a colorful life. And then with the escapist, come home to yourself. I feel like it's to move away from that fearful state. Come to the core of yourself. That means your soul. Answer your soul. Pay attention to what your soul really needs. Pay attention to the purpose that your soul is here for, and go into that direction. I think this is like encouragement that you deserve to fulfill your soul's purpose in life. And of course, you have to make that step. You have to make that decision. You have to make that leap. That is not something that someone else can do for you. Doesn't matter how many people wants to help you. If you don't take that first step yourself, nothing else is going to come from that situation. So I think there's definitely a lot of message here that we see today is to move away from the fear of the unknown, fear of rejection, fear of failure, or for whatever something, fear of something, but that prevent you from taking that leap of faith. And know that regardless of what happened, as long as you are not looking at things from a fearful place, the universe will have your back. Because if you are fearful, you will not be able to see what the universe is trying to tell you, or what direction the universe is trying to give to you. So try your best to find a way to move away from your fears. I would suggest affirmations. The best time is right before you go to sleep, and when you wake up in the morning, just tell yourself the reality that you want to live in, and convince yourself. That means don't give up after just a day. Continue to tell yourself that until your subconscious is convinced that this is a reality, and then you will see the shift of perspective in your life when you're not looking at things from a fearful place. Okay. All right, group 3, that is all that I have for you today. I hope some of the messages here resonate with you, if not most of the message. If you enjoyed this reading, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you have anything more to add, then do leave a comment on this video. If you think there's someone else that might benefit from this reading, then do share this with them. If you want to see more video from me, then definitely consider subscribing to this channel. All right, group 3, that is all the message that I have for you today. I wish you all the best in your journey, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hi there, group 4. If you choose this card number 25, then is it focusing? Then this will be your reading about your fear and what's the message behind your fear. So before I start this reading, I just want to remind all of you that this is a general reading. It's not a one-to-one personal reading. So not everything that I'm going to say in this reading will resonate to you. So it's very important to use your intuition in deciding what message is for you, what message is relevant to you, and what message is not, and only take the one that is relevant to you. All right, coming into the reading itself. So we're going to be looking into one of your fears and what messages are there for you in regards to that fear. I'll be starting with this first, talking about what's the meaning behind this card. And then after that, I'll be using 2 tarot decks. One is to identify the specific fear that wants to come through in the reading. And then another one is to get messages in regards to that fear itself. And then after that, we're going to finish off the reading with one more oracle card, just as the final word of encouragement. So to start off the reading, we have the card number 25. So in this particular deck, every card has a dark and light message, and I'm going to read both. And I'm going to be reading directly from the guidebook as well. Okay, so card number 25 is disquiet. Do you have a vague feeling that something's not quite right? Some worry that doesn't seem to have a specific cause. Trust those feelings of disquiet. It's easy to poo-poo them, especially if other people keep telling you everything is fine. Your intuition is correct. Something is wrong and it's closer than you think. Examine your work, your home, your health, your relationship, all the areas of concern in your life. Make adjustments as needed. Now, the light message is, once you find the obvious problem, the solution will be equally obvious. The dark message is, don't make any sudden moves. Okay, I feel like the message in this card is a little scary, but if you look at the core of the message itself, I feel like the fear that is coming out is you're afraid to listen to your intuition. And I'm hearing right now, this might not apply to everyone, but what I'm hearing is that some of you don't know how to differentiate between the voice of your fears or anxiety, as well as your intuition. You can't tell apart, and you're not sure if you're following something, you're not sure if I'm following my intuition or if I'm following my anxiety or fear. So there's definitely that worries in your mind. I'm going to be pulling more cards first just to get a little bit more information on your fears, and I'll try to relate it to this. But for reading into your fears, I will be looking at the Macabre Tarot deck or Macabre Tarot deck. I don't know which one is the right pronunciation. I've heard people say both. But I will put the name of the decks in the description of this video so that you can have a look at it if you want to. But this is, I usually pronounce it as Macabre Tarot deck. But I have also heard people say Macabre. So I don't know which one is the correct one. It's English, it's not my first language. Okay, I will be drawing three cards from this deck to get an idea about which fear is coming through in this reading today. So let's see, for group 4, what fear is coming through in this reading. We have the 9 of Swords. So 9 of Daggers is basically 9 of Swords. So there's definitely the anxiety that we're talking about just now there. Let's see, what else? What other message, what other fear, what's fear is coming up for group 4? Oh, that's too much card. That's too, oh my goodness, how many fears do you have? Okay, I am not going to take all of this. I feel like this particular card is calling me out and this card is calling me out. So I'm just going to take those two and keep everything else. So let's see. So we have the Sun card. The Sun card actually also came out in, I forgot which pile. I think it's pile number 2. And also in the exact same spot as well. And then Haunting of Daggers, that is the Queen of Swords. Okay. It's also interesting how you get all white cards, because this deck has a combination of like black card and white card. And so far we've got a mixture of both in all of the piles. And I think pile 1 got all of the black cards, but you get all of the white cards. Okay, so 9 of Swords, the Sun, as well as the Queen of Swords. I think there is I feel like you always try to rationalize your intuition or your fears. I still think that some of you probably can't tell a difference between the voice of your intuition and the voice of your fears or anxiety. My advice is that anything fearful or anything negative or anything that feels heavy or doesn't feel great or feels like it's going to lead into more disastrous emotion is usually not your intuition. I feel like the voice of intuition tends to be very peaceful, tends to be very calm, and feels very warm. I don't know. I guess it depends on the individual. It might be different. If you're really trying to separate the voice between your intuition and your fears, I would recommend meditation or grounding to help you learn to differentiate between the voice of your fears or anxieties as well as the voice of your intuition. Okay, so coming back to the cards that we have in front of us, there is a very strong voice that tells me that you are afraid of the truth. Look, the sun card can mean something that is, happiness and joyful as well. However, in this reading, in this particular context, what I'm hearing is that your ego in particular is afraid of the truth. Because maybe the truth is not something that will please your ego. So you are clinging on to this idea of that maybe you sweep things under the rug a little bit because you don't want to deal with things that will make you look bad, or you don't want to deal with things that can potentially cause conflicts. You don't want that. You'd rather just be silent about it. You can see in this Queen of Swords card how the Queen's throat is like slit, it's like, no, I can't speak now because my throat is bleeding. So I feel like you are preventing yourself from speaking your truth out of fear of it making you look bad, as in it's not going to please your ego. So that's what I'm hearing for a lot of you. So this might be like a very specific type of fear, because in comparison to the previous piles, I feel like the previous piles have a more generic fear, but in just reading the same box, but quite generic that you can apply in many different situations. But this is very specific towards fear of looking bad kind of thing. So you try to rationalize things. You don't listen to your intuition because of it, even though your intuition is telling you that this is not right. But you're not listening to it because you don't want to be dealing with anything that will make you look bad. So if you feel like this doesn't apply to you, then this might not be your pile. But there is definitely an ego involved here. With this sun card being here, as much as sun's supposed to be a happy card, but in this context, especially with the sun's face here, it's just sticking out. It's like, like how the dark cloud is covering the sun and the sun is like afraid of it, but the sun like trying to like just force a smile and say like, no, everything is fine, I know what you're talking about, everything is fine. It feels like I'm feeling that energy a lot from this reading. It's like things are not fine, but you just force a smile and keep telling people like, no, everything is fine. A movie came to my mind, which is Encanto. When Abuela, the character Abuela, is trying to convince to the villagers, saying that the power is strong, the magic is strong, nothing is wrong, everything is fine. Just want to sweep things under the rugs and just put up all of this perfect image of the Madrigal. And I feel like you are in that same energy where there are things that your intuition is already telling you something is not right. Your intuition is already telling you like this situation is not going to help you, or this situation is not healthy for you. But for some reason, you are not listening to that intuition out of fear that it's going to make you look bad. And it's giving you, and the idea of looking back give you so much anxiety that you literally just rather slit your throat, not literally, but just hopefully not literally, rather than face the truth. So for a lot of you, it's actually a fear of the truth. like you are in a denial a little bit from the truth, because your ego don't like the truth. Your ego don't want to be dealing with the truth. Your ego don't want to recognize that there is a problem. Like, no, there is no problem. I don't care. Everything is fine. I'm just going to sweep everything under the rug. Everything will be fine. I'm just going to smile through all of this and all of the problem will go away. But I think the message here is that the problem is not going away. And I think you know that. And I think that makes your anxiety gets worse. And I think it's getting harder to force that smile out, to pretend that everything is okay. And I think it's getting harder and harder to stay silent. Like you're losing grip of that dagger. Like you are losing grip of that dagger. It's getting out of control. It feels like it can burst out anytime. So I feel like that is kind of like, what is your fear right now? I'm going to get some more cards on the messages, of course. But if you feel like this is not relevant to you, then I think this might not be your pile. So I'm going to move on to the second tarot deck, which is the Linestrider Tarot deck, which is actually, now that I think about it, because all of the previous pile, I actually never mentioned about the card being like the color of the card. But for your pile, suddenly I felt called to point out that this is all white, white card. And I think the reason why, because this particular deck, the Macabre Tarot deck, it highlights a lot of shadow side, highlight a lot of fear side in the energy. It's a good deck to use for that, which is the reason why I use it for here. And the white color here, because if we compare black color and white color in like the common understanding or the stereotype understanding, is that people always refer to black as being the dark side and white being this light, pure, perfect kind of thing. And I think the fact that all of the cards come out in this deck is all white is exactly the image that you're trying to put up to people. Like everything is fine. I'm completely fine. Everything is just perfect. I think that's the image or the front that you're trying to put, especially because this deck is also, all of the cards are white as well. So there's this, definitely there's this energy of trying to make everything looks perfect, regardless of how much trouble they are. You're just going to sweep things under the rugs and then not deal with the things that needs to be dealt with because you're just afraid of looking bad. So I feel like that's your energy, and that's the reason why when I lay out your card, the first thing I see is that the cards is all white, because I didn't mention about the color of the cards in the previous piles. Your pile is the only pile that I mentioned the color. So I find that interesting. So I just want to point it out. All right, so let's get more information. So for group 4, what is the message that they need to hear in regards of their fear? Message, what message does group 4 need to hear in regard of their fear? We have the 4 of Swords. Let's get 2 more cards. Oh, look, I got Queen of Swords again. So there's two Queen of Swords in this pile. A lot of Swords energy as well. I just realized that you only have Swords so far. So let's see what card comes up for the last one. One more card for oh, my cat is here. My cat wants attention. Okay, now we have the 9 of Pentacles. Okay, this is the only non-sword cards that we have. Hope you don't mind my cat being here. Okay, so for your message regarding regarding your situation. There's definitely, I think, a message about, with the Four of Swords being here, I feel like there is a message of take a break from this ego self, that take a break from trying to sweep things under the rug and actually deal with the problem. And if you look at this Queen of Swords over here, she's holding the sword. Her throat is fine. She looks very calm. She's looking ahead and she have control of the sword. She's holding the sword. And if you compare it to this particular Queen of Swords, she has absolutely no control of the sword. The sword is like out of her grip. She has no control. And I feel like this is the energy that you need to be in. This particular Queen of Swords is the energy that you need to be in. So that means you need to take charge of your own. You need to take charge of your own thoughts, basically, because there's a lot of swords cards in this reading. There's the Nine of Swords, 2 Queen of Swords, and then the 4 of Swords. So a lot of the fears that you have is actually in your head, in your mind. And it's kind of like the fear of not looking good. You know, you always want to look happy. You always want to look perfect. You always want to look like you have everything under control. And I think there's a message here of taking a break from trying to be perfect and try to find your power again, try to find your voice again, so that you don't continue to have a bleeding throat over there. Try to take charge of your own narrative again. Get a clearer idea about the situation, because the more you sweep things under the rug, the harder it will be for you to see the truth of the situation. And wait, Ali, sorry, that is my cat's name. So the idea here is to not sweep things under the rug, to stop sweeping things under the rug and look at the situation a lot more clearly. Take control of the narrative of the situation. Take a break from trying to look perfect. Okay, give your mind a break from all of this anxiety that you're feeling right now, and just look at the situation head on. Okay, look at the situation head on. Find out what exactly is going on. Face your fears about looking bad, you know, because you're dealing with the situation heads on. Nothing bad about that. If anything, that is courageous, that is brave. Okay, so it might not appeal to your ego, but you need ego to some, like a healthy dose of ego is good, but too much of it is bad. So this is where I think where you are being asked to stop pleasing your ego too much and just look at your whatever situation, whatever are the things that you keep sweeping under the rugs. Look at the situation heads on and find out exactly what is wrong with this picture. What is wrong with the picture? What can you do to make things better? Is there anything that you need to communicate to make things better? Is there any conversation that you need to have in order to have clarity about the situation? And then have patience in strategizing what to do about it for long-term result. So don't just do something for the sake of short-term thing, just because for me, sweeping things under the rug is like, it doesn't really solve anything. You're just kind of like, it's just a short-term thing. But with the Nine of Pentacles being here, I feel like it is telling you to take some strategy and plan something and take actions based on that, whatever strategy that you have that can give you result in long term, that can be sustained for long term. That way, you can finally clean under that rug and have clean under rug, and not have to, that I mean, resolve the issue at hand rather than continue to push them aside. And once you resolve it, it will be like, it might take a while, because I'm guessing that some of the things that you've been trying to escape probably has been there a while. So in order to resolve it, it will take a while, but it will be worth it rather than continue to to have this fear of like, oh my God, I'm going to look bad. I don't want to look bad. Rather than continue to doing that, which is going to continue to make you look bad. Because if you look at this sun card here, trying so hard to look happy, but we can see that it's not happy. I think you need to know that this is how you look like right now. Like you're just forcing it and people notice, people can see it. So rather than lying to yourself just for the sake of your ego, actually put down that mask, look at the things a lot clearly and strategize and take long-term actions that can help resolve the situation permanently rather than temporarily. Okay, because if you just sweep things under the rug or if you only take shortcuts in hoping that it will solve it for the time being, it's always going to come back biting you. So make sure that you have a little bit of patience to just have some clarity, do whatever that you need to do to gain that clarity, and then have strategies on how you can resolve the issue at hand. Okay, so that is like what your fear is telling me. Like right now, your fear is fear of not looking good or looking bad. And I think that is so much speaking from a place of ego. So I think your spiritual team is telling you that it's time to not pay attention to your ego. It's time to stop being egotistical. I'm sorry if it's triggering. Maybe someone has said this to you already, like you're being egotistical, and that probably trigger you. And then hearing me saying it again, probably going to trigger you even more. But I think that's what your spiritual team want you to hear. Like you need to step aside from that ego character that you've been playing for so long and actually go from this energy to this energy, instead of not having, like, losing control and like bleeding from your throat, not having control of your thoughts. Be this Queen of Swords, where she looks very calm, she is looking ahead, clearly knowing what she's looking at, and she has grip of that sword. That means it's in her control. So I think your spiritual team asks you to move from this Queen of Swords to this Queen of Swords. And if you can do that, I think it will improve your image a lot more. Because even if we are talking about image as well, we know that we can see that how this particular Queen of Swords don't have an image, while this one have a clear image, very clear. So I think that is also what your spiritual team is trying to say, is move from this state into this state where it looks more like you are in control rather than trying to be in control. And another thing that I'm hearing that I think your spiritual team want me to brought up, if you remember at the start of the reading, when I was shuffling this card, how there was like explosive of cards that came out. And then I actually like shouted out, how many fears do you have? For some reason that came back into my mind as I was shuffling the Linestrider Tarot just now. And I think your spiritual team want me to tell you that explosive of cards when I was shuffling just now is a symbolism of your situation falling apart. That mean the more, like, you can't sweep it under the rug anymore because things are falling apart. It is I'm hearing a tower moment in my head right now. So for those of you that are not familiar with tarot, tower moment basically means that a major shift needs to take place. But in order for a major shift to take place, it's going to, a lot of things need to crumble down. That means it's a difficult transition to shift into. And I'm hearing that as well in my head, like a tower moment is going to happen if you continue to sweep things under the rug. And that symbolism of the tarot deck just now, it's like exploding everywhere, like falling down everywhere, is a symbolism of your situation if you continue to please your ego and sweep things under the rug. So the fact that it came back in my mind, I feel like it's worth the mention, like it's worth for me to mention that to you, because I actually wasn't thinking much about it until when I was shuffling the Linestrider deck. That's when suddenly I hear it again, that the tarot deck exploded just now is a symbolism of your own situation if you continue to sweep it under the rugs. So fearing for your image, as in fearing that you don't look perfect, is going to cause more damage than actually being honest about the situation and look at the situation as it is and finding the solution to the problem itself. So that's basically what's the message that I have for you. I hope that makes sense. I hope we are on the right track. I'm going to pull out one more card from an oracle deck. This is the Believe in Your Own Magic oracle deck. So I'm going to pull one card from this deck as a final word of encouragement for you from your spiritual team about your situation. Okay, so for group number 4, what is final messages that will be helpful for them in regards to their fear? What is the final message that will be? Oops, okay, I got one. So storm, every hurricane comes to an end. And then you have the number 44 at the top there. Every hurricane comes to an end. And I like how this person is wearing a crown, which kind of like, for me, because you have 2 Queen of Swords, and then now you have another queen in the picture. I'm just going to call her a queen. I don't care if she's a princess or a queen. I'm going to call her a queen. So I feel like it's saying that every hurricane comes to an end. So I feel like the message here is that don't run away from your problem. Because yes, it's going to be difficult to deal with the problem, but know that every hurricane, the hurricane is the representation of your problem, will come to an end. So that means every problem has a solution. Every problem can be resolved. So I think that is the message for you right now, is that don't stop running away from your hurricane, because the hurricane will come to an end. That means you will find your solution to the situation. And the more you worried about your image, the worse it will be. So I think that is the message for you. All right, group 4. I hope some of the messages here resonate with you, if not most of it. If you like this video, do consider giving it a thumbs up. If you have any more additional things to add, do leave a comment on this video. If you feel like there's someone that can benefit from this reading, do share the video with them. Other than that, if you want to see more videos from me, then do consider subscribing to this channel. All right, group 4, that is all that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I wish you all the best in your journey, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye, group 4.